What's up, YouTube? What they do? I miss you. I really do miss y'all. I've been kind of like MIA a little bit, but y'all, I might just start posting once a week. I've been thinking. I don't fucking know, but I ain't gonna stop though. The show don't stop. It just lately I just been dabbling into other things in life, y'all. That's all. Been trying to stay in the moment and make sure that I'm still happy and shit. You know, try to keep myself from slipping back into depression and shit. Y'all know how that be. But anyway, I miss y'all. Y'all know y'all my day ones. So what they do? I did just finish making a video for TikTok. So I was like, how you gonna do a TikTok before you come on YouTube? And YouTube was your day one. So I gotta keep it real with y'all. I had to come on here and give you guys a message too. So y'all, I want to talk about the brain and how if you don't use it the right way, let's just jump into it. How about that? I don't even want to get into it. I don't even want to. Let's just go into it. So I wrote this down, y'all, on June the 27th, 2025. So what that was 3 months ago, almost 3 months ago, like 2.5, something like that. Yeah. So I wrote this at 8:42 p.m. And if you add that together, it give you the number 5, which represents change. And yeah, so I do like to recognize the numbers because I am a big person. I am big on numbers, and I feel like in the future, my messages and the numbers that coexist with the messages is gonna have a lot of the people who's meant to understand is gonna understand. Put it like that. And I'm talking in code, so only people who understand is gonna understand. So that's all I'm gonna say about that when I do say the numbers. So let's get into it. So the brain is a central part of the nervous system. And oh yeah, so this gonna be a little different, y'all. I know I be on here just giving y'all little messages, but this is more like an educational message that I received, not just from spirit, but because sometimes spirit will just tell me stuff and I'd be like, that's how I literally knew it. But sometimes spirit will guide me to research things too, and then that's how I know things. So it's not like it's not from spirit. It's still from spirit. It's just I didn't just hear this and now I know it. It's like I heard something, go research this, research that, and then I received the message through my research. Because sometimes I hear spirit is saying you can take a horse to the water, but you can't make him drink. That was for somebody. I don't know who that was for. I feel like it was a little shady, but it wasn't me. It was spirit. Don't shoot the messenger. Anyway, all right. The brain is a central part of the nervous system. In other words, it is the main source responsible for receiving information, processing information, and relaying information to the mind and throughout the body. Before I go too deep into this message, I do want to say this: everything I'm giving you is for educational purpose. I do encourage everyone to also do their own research on everything that I'm saying. Spirit says that only a fool believes anything that they hear. A lot of times that's how lies get started, because one person say something and the next person just believe it, and when you start believing it, eventually you start walking around like you know it's true. And God is saying that's what's been happening over the years, and I'm here to reverse the lies with the truth. And the truth the truth was buried, but it was always meant to rise again from the ashes. Oh my God, I'm getting spirit channel messages with y'all. Okay. I'm feeling something. So yeah. So again, the brain is a central part of the nervous system, spirit is saying. In other words, it is the main source responsible for 3 things: receiving information, processing information, and relaying information to your mind and throughout the body. And again, before I go too deep into the message, I want to repeat again, only a fool believe anything they hear. Everything that I'm telling you, you can research this for yourself. Again, when I got this message from Spirit, it didn't just come. Spirit didn't just tell me all this. Spirit had me researching certain things, and when I researched certain things, this is what I received. Those 3 things I just named are the 3 things that the brain is responsible for. I'm sorry, I paused because as I was saying the 3 things, I just kept hearing Trinity, 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 Trinity. And that's what Spirit has been beating into me lately, is to align with the Trinity, because everything starts with that. And not only do it starts with that, it also ends with that. Because to start something is to believe in something. That's why I want to do this, because I believe in the cause. And once you get into the cause, at some point, you got to start knowing that the things that you are believing, it's not just a belief anymore. It's a knowing. But only when there's truth in that, God is saying. Because I don't have many of my people come here and blast my name. Not my name. Spirit is saying I don't have. Spirit is saying I don't have a name. I assign you guys' name. I don't have a name. My name is the Holy Spirit. So my name is your name. My name, your name, everyone else's name who's listening. That's what Spirit wanted me to tell y'all. So let me go to it. So before I move on, and I literally wrote this. It's funny because I kept saying that. I said, before I move on, I want to ask you 3 questions, Spirit said. So now that we know that the brain is a central part of the nervous system, and again, research it, and you can Google it on your phone. Pause the video right now if you want to, and research that. Research and see, literally put in your phone, is the brain the central part of the nervous system? That's how you gotta ask Google, or whatever you want to ask. After that, ask. And if that is true, like I researched and it is true, I just put a quotation marks at the bottom, in other words, because I myself, I like to break things down, because I just feel like, you know how like you be talking to like a real smart person, and hold on y'all real quick. What's up, babe? I'm in the middle of a video. I'm gonna call you right back, okay? All right. Sorry, y'all. But you know how like you'll be talking to somebody who went to Harvard or something, or went to law school, or a doctor or something, and you be like, okay, I heard everything you saying, but can you repeat that again so I can understand you? A lot of times when I research stuff, I still reword it in a way that my lower stuff can understand. Or if I'm talking to like a child or someone who don't, like, for example, like I just feel like, depending on what field you in, you're going to know a lot about that field. But if you talk to somebody who's not in that field, you got to talk to them in a different lingo. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't understand what that is. So I put in other words because I wanted people to understand that, yes, the brain is a central part of the nervous system. But in other words, it is the main source responsible for 3 things. So the brain is responsible for 3 things. And those 3 things is receiving information, processing the information that you're receiving, and also relaying the information to the mind and throughout the body. That is the 3 things that your brain is responsible for. You can research that. That is a fact. That is a knowing. That is no lie. That is truth. After you research the 3 things that the brain is responsible for, the next thing I want you to do is Spirit said, ask yourself these 3 questions. The first question is, if the brain is responsible for receiving information, who is sending you the information? Again, if the brain is responsible for receiving information, and it's a central part, the main part of the nervous system, who is sending the information to you? Understand, in order for you to receive information, it has to come from somewhere. It has to. Information do not just drop out of nowhere. It's coming from somewhere. Understand that. That's a fact. So, that's my first question. Who is this information coming from? Who is sending you this information? And it's a fact that Your brain is responsible for receiving information. You can look it up, and I want y'all to look it up. So, like I said, the first question is, who is sending you the information? The next question, why do this energy, because understand, whatever is sending you this information is not a person. Let's just keep it real. It's not a person. It's energy. And if you really break it down, what is a person? A human. What is a human? When you go down to the lowest element, the beginning stage of a human, it's the same thing I just said, energy, right? So, again, going to the second question, why is this energy, that's why I use the word energy, why is this energy, and I put in quotation marks, because understand that everything is energy, including ourselves. So, again, why do this energy want us to process this information? Why do this energy that's sending us this information through our crown chakra into our brain, why do it want us to process the information? Because understand, someone can give you something, right? But for you to be able to process the information is a whole different thing. To receive something and to process something is different. Even with the food, it's factories. They receive the food and they process the food. Once you process that food, it's going through it's a different stage. It's a different season. It's the difference. So not only do the brain receive the information, it is also responsible, again, what's the second thing I said? Is it responsible for processing the information? So the first question, who is sending you this information? The second question is, why do this energy that's sending you this information want you to process it? Because in order for you to, because when someone give you something, you have it. But for you to take process of it, you're taking your time to understand it. Understand that. So you got this energy that's sending you information through your brain, right? And then you got this brain that's responsible for receiving the information, but not only just receiving it, processing it. Processing it, because understand that once it comes through our brain, it processes through our flesh. The last question I want you to ask yourself, and if y'all don't got a pen or paper, please get one. Please pause the video and get one, because this is so serious. I feel Spirit is saying these questions is not just questions that just came out of nowhere on June the 6th. I mean, the 27th. June 27, 2025. God said, Spirit is saying these questions is meant for you to really start asking yourself questions, because you've been walking around believing and not knowing. And now it's time for us to start knowing and understanding what's going on with our bodies, with the creation of God, because you are the creation, the walking, living source, divinely guided by source itself. You are the source. You are the power. It was always you. The universe is you. You are the universe. Last question I have is, why do this energy want you to relay this information not only to your mind, but throughout the body too? Again, why do this energy want to relay this information not only to the mind, but to the body, but throughout the body too? 3 things that the brain do, that the brain is responsible for: receiving information, processing information, and relaying the information to the mind and throughout the body. The third question again, why do this energy want to relay this information not only to the mind, but to the body as well? The next thing I wrote, y'all, is it sounds like this energy is trying to connect with your mind and your body. And then I put, could it be your soul? Could it be? What's the soul? Eternal. the part of you that's writing the Akashic records as we speak right now, as I speak and as you listen. The soul is the part of you that echoes from the past to the present to the future. Your soul is the piece of you that will never die. It's that eternal flame that's within you, deep within your core, that's always on fire. That's why when you die, you get cold. That's why if you're alive, you will always have a temperature. Because we all have that core fire within us. And that core fire is the flame of the universe. It's our soul flame that never dies. It's the soul flame that remembers our past lives and knows that when this flesh dies and that flame get cold, it has to find another home. This body is just a temporary home that we're borrowing. Even just think about the home that you're living in now, your home right now, whether you're a homeowner or not, wherever you're living at, when you leave, baby, it's no longer your home. Everything, even time itself, is getting borrowed. Understand that. You are so much more powerful than the way that this world have programmed you to believe that you are. People love to say, oh, stay humble, be humble. Why? Do you know who you are? When you pray, why do we kneel on our knees as if we're praying to someone more powerful than us? What is more powerful than you? They want us to believe that the power is outside of us and that the information is outside of us, when yet the information is within us. You are the information. You're writing the information.